Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Vicky 3, episode 25. We're still here with Japan, and uh, coming off of our war, things are not looking good. However, the main reason for that was we only had not even a quarter of our military. It was probably 15% of our military was turned up to a higher level pre-war. We turned the other 85% up, which came with a hefty cost. Now, the fantastic part about that is in future wars, we're going to be far more capable, and if we're ever going to gain and force recognition, it's going to take a strong military. So even though we have a negative balance right now, I don't want to turn it down. I want to just continue to grow the economy beyond this point, and then continue to see the military get bigger and stronger, not the opposite. I don't want to turn it back down. I don't want the military to get weaker. And with a balance of 3.5 million, 3,000 is not a major debt. The only problem is we had been, before that, working on trying to turn construction up, which saw things happen much more rapidly than before. And right now, with a negative balance, there's no way we're turning that up. Also, with a authority shortfall, we're not turning that back up right now. And now that we have an open market, we can start to do trade, which can fix the balance in certain areas. But instead of being fixed, well, we don't have the bureaucracy to conduct trade at the moment. So we have a number of shortfalls that need to be addressed, but none of them are severe. So for that, Great Ching asking for a trade agreement. So that's a great step for us, as they are the giant force in the region. Big boost to Kansai and the service industry, manufacturing industries, which is where a lot of it is. So we may see a boost, hopefully, as the economy still has not kind of gone right as of yet, but it hasn't been a matter of 1 year. Apparently, I just needed to restart the game from last time we were playing, as our colony work here is now, happening at the same rate as what we have here. So you can see we are growing quite rapidly. We do have Bemba down here. I'm wondering if Bemba would be an easy target, but I did notice recently that even though France now likes us and are cautious towards us and would likely stay out of things, I do think Spain has now joined the fray and decided that they care about what's going on in here. So they are protective towards us, so they would probably not stand in our way. But let's go ahead and improve relations with them. And then curious to see kind of who else is in the area. Portugal has started to colonize Lindy as well, so they are starting to move into the area. But we have Britain, we have France, Portugal, and then ourselves, Egypt, and Spain are the ones that do have interest in the area. So we're working on those relations with Spain. I'm going to check in on Egypt, Britain, Portugal, and see where they're at. Egypt like us. Britain does not. There's your one to get out of the take care of relations with, as they would very much be an issue. And it looks like we could use some growth of relations with Portugal, though it's not bad. Portugal at war currently with Avambunde, tiny little nation, and yet they have not committed troops, clearly, as Avambunde is taking this whole western state and putting it under their control. Surprise, surprise. There's Portuguese Lindy. Slowly growing, but we do seem to have a fairly firm grasp. Well, there's a new one. Native Uprising against us. Kazembe have launched one, so we have a diplomatic play. They are massively outnumbered, but if they get support, then you never know. Spain is actually leading our direction, so there's that. I'm sure we could sway them. We don't need to unless they end up getting support. So Kazembe is down here. It's a new land. We haven't actually even started doing anything with it. It's still just a very small colony, just getting started out. I suppose they're probably not going to back down, so let's go ahead and mobilize one general at least. Now, I wonder if we can take the rest of Kazembe as a result. I'm guessing that that might be the scenario that we find ourselves in with their uprising. We could add the war goal. Oh, there you go. Annex Kazembe already, where they're trying to conquer. It looks like they've got no support, so we should be firmly in control on this one. High attrition, unfortunately. It looks like we are going to war with Kazembe, but this is going to allow us to actually finish the job quite quickly. Rubber discovered in Uganda. Okay. Well, that's good. How we doing? Are the troops already here? Oh, they are. They're in the front already. They made it. Okay. Well, this should be comfortable then. There we go. And the war begins. We are fighting proper. It looks like we are working to advance. 4616 should give us firm control, not only because it's more units than what they have, but it's the quality. Remember, we turned everything up military-wise, so we should be quite strong compared to them. In fact, if you look at our numbers, our offense, defense, 50 plus in both. Now, their defense is actually tolerable, so as they do play defensively, it's going to take us a little bit to get control here without bringing in additional troops, but you can see we are already starting to make some advances. Central banking has suddenly taken care of our money shortage, as minting is going to go up, or at least I think it will have. Turn up maximum cash reserves as well. So they are actually making little advances here. Are they working a second front? Is that what's going on? Yeah, they're coming in with larger troops. So do I need to open a second front? Because it looks like they're kind of running two fronts. Not what I wanted to do, because that's going to leave us with the extra cost and more, attrition being suffered. They are making this challenging, so we'll bring them in, put them on the front as well. I don't know how it is that they are outnumbering us when it's 46-15 right now. We're not committing troops to the front. We saw the comparison. Things are kind of going backwards. Yet it says we're winning. I don't know. Maybe that's all we have left to conquer. But that's our flag, so it should be held territory according to us. Turmoil makes you think it's occupied territory. Nothing held there anymore. Either way, we are looking positive for the war. They're looking pretty negative. I mean, they're at -42. So what I'm seeing versus what seems to be playing out is very different. And we appear to be winning the war. By the way, even with an active war, our balance is starting to look quite positive. So the economy turn is definitely going the right direction. Very confused on how we're supposed to be advancing the front. They're defending the front, and yet we're not really getting anywhere. Our morale is 0. Their morale is rather high. So it does feel like we're somehow losing. Yeah, see, they're winning, and we're not even committing troops. We won the first battle and have won nothing since. And we're supposed to be advancing the front, and yet we're not. Now we are slowly beating their units where they're dropping. But this has gone rather odd. Supply is low. I'm sure that's part of the reason why morale is low, but just not sure why we can't seem to win a battle even though we are far superior in every way. But they're fighting at home. Alright, so we just gave the general syphilis. Now, their state has not changed at all. I mean, they're at a minus 42. And now Bemba has an uprising. Okay, so we're going to shift some of these units over to that front, which the good news is that's close, but there's a double front here with Bemba. It's going to allow us to finish colonizing there rather quickly if we can, you know, win the war. Let's change your... We want to... not a fan of the split front here. I think we're going to have to make 3. We're going to need a 3rd general. We have plenty more units. Well, so the native uprising has turned into, you know, war. This is becoming quite the incident, especially considering, you know, our domination that we have here isn't translating. It's not going well at all. But we'll see what kind of forces Bemba can come up with, because Kazembe, you know, they had a decent amount of forces. And all of a sudden we have 1 unit on the front. Why would we only have 1 unit on the front? I mean, we didn't tell them to go away. I mean, there's our 60. There should be 40-something units here. We have an active general. Did our general die? A general has died. A general has died. So, we need to take this general, our general with 40, and change his order. Put him over there. We're going to have to recruit a 3rd general yet again. Boy, things are off to a rough start, are they not? We may not even need a 3rd one soon. This could collapse before we even get a chance. Hey, look at that. We have... No, that's not us. We have no morale. I don't understand how we have no morale. Okay, well, they have no troops here, so at least there's that. We have such terrible morale. I don't understand why our morale is so bad. Now, we've hurt their morale in Bemba, but what is the deal here when it comes to morale? Alright, well, game being rather weird. We had enough of an advantage in terms of war score, even though we weren't progressing and we had no morale for our troops, that they wanted to give up, and give up they did. So we have annexed Kazembe, which means we've actually finished colonizing this area without even having to, you know, properly colonize. And now we're going to have a big advantage here, splitting this up into a double front. And only a couple units, so even though morale's probably low for us, winning should not be too hard, because there's only a couple units, unlike before, where there was, you know, like 16 of them or something along those lines, and so we didn't really have. And you see now we're kind of, the front's bouncing back and forth. We've already conquered this area, so this is all that's left. I think this had something to do with low supply leading to low morale, and the current state of our military, even though it's far superior in strength to the local natives, we don't have big bonuses to morale. In fact, we have some negatives when it comes to morale. And that combination appears to be why our military was performing so badly. But we have full, what do you call it? Full control over the territory, full occupation, and that war score is gonna go in our favor quite quickly here. So we're going to have full control here. Portugal is definitely going quite a bit faster than we are in colonizing. So we're almost out when it comes to our colonizing of this region. There you go, 100%. And that is done. We're also 4 days away from getting this portion of that state under our control. And then, yeah, that's going to be done quite soon. So, this is going to change things. This is going to change things on where we go forward. Obviously, there's still plenty of territory to colonize. And I think we're only going to be actively colonizing one now. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And we do still have, territory. I mean, we still have an area here that we can get in. Zambia might be a good start, as that helps cut off the south. So we're going to go and colonize Zambia. Subjugation demand. No. No, thank you. Huge crop failure in Zanzibar for 5 years, so that's not good, but we don't have a lot coming out of here anyway. Slow start, severe malaria in this region, but like I said, this region's nearly done, so we'll be colonizing elsewhere rather soon. France is now colonizing further inland. They have not been doing that before. Okay, so Lindy has been fully colonized now. We did a pretty good job of getting the majority of it. Portugal did get some. It'd be nice to cut off Portugal, keep them split, and keep Central Africa for ourselves, but we'll see how that one goes. But in the meantime, we do need to use up some bureaucracy and check in. We are incorporated as a state in Zanzibar. Unfortunately, there's still a fair bit of turmoil there. Kenya, just 3 years away from being incorporated now. Lindy can be incorporated, and actually quite cheaply. It's going to take 21 years, but let's work on that. Date here is ready to incorporate. So let's go ahead and start that process as well. And I'm guessing that we're also going to be done down here. We are. Kazembe. And then Katanga can, but it looks like there's more to do in Katanga colonization-wise. So let's get our second colony going. So I think maybe it's the first one that's going to take a while. Once you are established, then you have a state. Once you're in your own state, then it's not a problem. No progress. That is Congo region now. That is Congo region, apparently. That is the Congo. So we are going to have to change things if we're going to get in there. We are now interested in the Congo. Biggest problem I'm having with the economy these days is unrealized taxes. I mean, there's another 73,000 out there that we're not bringing in, which, you know, compared to the 100,000 we are bringing in, you know, it's a good 40% of what we have. Now, our expenses, you know, it's certainly not nothing. There's a lot going on there in terms of expenses. But this massive fluctuation, I think, has more to do with unrealized taxes than anything else. So trying to address that, and probably through technology, is going to be the next thing. Right now we're doing crystal glass, but I'm thinking that maybe I need to look at something that's going to help us with taxation, like identification documents that increases the taxation capacity by 25. You know, as far as I know, that puts it up in every state by 25, which means we're going to be better at collecting taxes with the efficiency level that we have in government administration as of now. So we're going to switch to doing that. GDP at 50 million, the population also about to break 40 million. testing my theory to see if once we have a state, it makes things easier. We're down to the last few days before we actually get our first colonies into these new areas. It's still at 1,000 for now. So I don't know kind of what it takes to get your state strong enough to not have the huge penalty for malaria, severe malaria here. Customs union, their customs union puts us in their market, so no. We want to be a world power. We do not want to be succumbing to others, even if that would have made our economy stronger. Right. I've seen this string of events before. Your Jack the Ripper equivalent just in Japan. We're going to have to solve. It's going to give us a string of negative events one after another for a while. I'm going to start shifting our tools network to using steel and see what that can do for us. It's going to improve employment, higher paying jobs, right? So it's good for the population, for the standard of living. But steel is not something we have an abundance of right now, so we're going to have to kind of take it one step at a time. I'll try to turn those up, but right now tools are really expensive because we have a pretty big shortage. But only 3 steel mills, and the motor industry was the only thing that was using it, and there was only one, and it was just getting active, and you kind of have that revolving door of you don't have enough of this, you don't have enough of that, so it doesn't really function. But you can see, we have that pretty big tools shortage and pretty big expense. The other one that right now is major shortage is paper and coal. Those are the 3 things that really need to be addressed short term. Opening a trade route for coal with Qing has actually had a really good boost to the economy. We're nearly level for the first time in quite a while, as the influx of another 100 coal or so has brought the price down a fair bit. Ooh, hello, we caught the Ripper early. Nice. Awesome. That's a good thing, because that actually gives us a positive balance and authority for the first time, so we don't have waste there. We've nearly taken care of our transportation issues. It looks like we need one more railway here in Kanto. Now, I haven't even looked at things for a while, and there are a fair bit that want things like right of assembly. They want to change the government. I've not been looking into the government whatsoever, as we've played almost 15 years already in this playthrough, so I've really kind of put my head down and focused on just a couple of things here and neglected some others. So let's check in with the government. Unacceptable. Down to a 49. The industrialists, the intelligentsia want in. The samurai are very much not strong anymore. The industrialists and the intelligentsia are the ones we want to have in there, so it's actually probably a good thing that we could do. I would imagine we could get them out. Shogunate alone can give us 88 legitimacy. So the shogunate and the Buddhist monks are the only ones that are going to help us. Or a nice new kind of stat line that it shows, anyway. Ultimately, there's nothing we can do with the government right now. We have officially reached 40 billion, 6th in world population. I mean, there's a real opportunity here to make use of it. But very, very low standard of living. I'm sure a lot of that's coming down to Africa, but not just Africa. Literacy is slowly growing, and we're 11th in GDP. Right? If we can really get that economy taken off, we can support a much bigger, stronger military and hopefully force our way into recognition here at some stage. That is still the ultimate goal. How long will it take? I made the right move for sure by switching to identification documents. We went from a negative 400 balance to an 8.4 thousand positive balance. So we gained almost 9,000 in less taxation waste by increasing our taxation capacity. So that was a huge and very, very wise move to make to get that one done.
As our gold reserves had fallen to 1.8 million, having this positive balance is going to see that rise pretty quickly and get back up there. And then soon enough, we'll start turning that into more money spent. But our national revenue has gone up by 15,000 from the last time we checked it a handful of years ago. The unrealized taxes are 8,000 lower than they were. So again, there's that trade-off now. More government administration in the right places means less taxation waste. The national expenses, meanwhile, are pretty much right where they were before. Construction goods also quite costly. We've seen good boosts to our prestige lately, but we are still just short of being an unrecognized major power. Right now, we're still just seen as a regional power, which is why that rank is smaller than what it had been, even though, again, our prestige is 4 times what it was at the start of the game, but apparently others find it, the ability for it to raise rather fast. With a balance up to 10,000 and gold reserves climbing in the not so distant future, I'd be quite interested in trying to turn construction up yet again and sort that out, knowing that, hey, it's going to cost us probably 30,000 up front or 25,000 up front, putting us at a deficit once again. But I'd love to get the rate of growth going much faster, because it takes us a little while to get industries going at a 33 tick. It's okay construction wise, but it's way slower than what it could or should, and we're going to have to grow quite rapidly if we are going to catch up to the actual superpowers. Now we're getting somewhere. Great Britain wants a defensive pact with us. That is progress. I think that is the right kind of direction. That's the ally you want to have, right? Easily one of the 2 most powerful nations in the game. So if we can get them on our side, that is huge. That is going to do it for this episode, though. We'll go ahead and call that a big success, where a few things were slow to go. We have now reversed the economy from a negative to a positive, overcoming all those extra costs we had to upgrade the military, though the military obviously still has some major shortcomings. We made some good expansion in terms of colonization, as much through war as it was through other means. But good things are happening. We've fixed our administration, our bureaucracy issues, the economy issue, and we've seen that GDP climb over 50 million, population climb over 40 million. Standard of living is still absurdly low, and I think we're going to keep targeting, as we can't touch the government right now. None of the laws are changeable with the current situation that we have. So continually aiming for another 5,000-6,000 in a positive balance, and short term, and then that'll also short term see the reserves grow, so that we could then hopefully flip that and turn up the construction, and then make up some ground a lot faster. That's going to be, I think, the target for our next episode. That's going to do it for this one, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.